She just disappeared. So for us, it's very important to bring civil society into decision-making spaces. We do that in a dialogue space like the IGF. We do it at the General Assembly. We do it at the Committee on the Status of Women, at the Human Rights Council. We do it at local level, in work with local regulators. And we regional level with partners such as, I see Makan Fai here from the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa and the African Union. And I think I'll close on that before I give to the members to speak. So APC's approach to policy is linking local, national, regional, and global. So for us, being at a global event like this is an opportunity for our members to find their governments and engage with them. And to bring issues to their attention, which sometimes is very hard for them to bring to their attention at a country level, because it's more difficult for a senior government official to be impolite with civil society in a global space than it is in a national space. And then we believe in partnership. We work with government and regulators and decision makers and businesses at a level of criticism, engagement that is critical, that challenges practices that we feel changes the internet into something that we don't believe it should be, but we also view them as partners. So we also work with them collaboratively. I mean, examples of our projects you can find out at our booth. There's the Global Information Society Watch, which will be launched later, the African Declaration on Internet Rights and Principles, Feminist Principles of the Internet, and many more. So I will close on that, and I'm just going to I'm going to ask some of the members to talk about their work, but are there any questions from anyone about APC and its structure, its funding, or its governance? I'm afraid you have to get up and go to the microphone. So it's this. Oh, that's good. We have a roving microphone. Just introduce yourself and keep your question brief.
Arthur, an Open Technology Fund Fellow at Strathmore University. It's about membership. How do we become a member of APC? Thanks.
Okay, I'm asking one of the staff members to answer that. Emila. Take this opportunity to introduce yourself to the rest of the room.
Okay, it just shows how we work as APC, always prepared to do something. My name is Emila, and I'm the Africa Policy Coordinator at APC, and I'm based in South Africa. We have two levels of membership. So you can you can join APC as an organization, and you can also join APC as an individual affiliate. So to join APC, you write to membership at apc.org, or talk to any of us or at the booth. There's also a leaflet where you can write your email, and someone will take you through on the steps on how to join APC. It's an easy process. The benefits are so many, including the party today. Bring your dancing shoes.
And can I actually ask, and then go on from that? So member applications, there's a membership working group, which is made up of members. And then the final decision to approve members is made by the APC board, which is elected by members. And this is my cue to introduce the board members in the room. They're going to identify themselves, and then I'm going to ask the chair of our board, Julian Casasbuenas, to say a little bit about the board and how the board works. But can I ask all the members of the board that are in the room just to identify themselves? You can just say your name and where you're from.
Good morning. My name is Julian Casasbuenas. I'm a member of APC board and chair of the board. I work for Colnodo in Colombia. That it's an APC member since 1994.
Valentina Perlitzer from One World Platform. We are a member, I think, since 2007, 2008 in Bosnia and Herzegovina, vice chair.
Manavi,
Good morning. I am Manavi from Open Institute. I am a board member of the APC. I was elected as a board member in 2013. Nice to meet all of you here.
thanks Manavi. And we have Lillian. Oh, Liz.
Hello, I'm Liz Probert from UK member GreenNet.
Hi everyone, I'm Naro Gadilian. I work with collaboration on international ICT policy in Eastern Southern Africa from Uganda, and our organization has been a member since 2007.
Thanks a lot. And you can grab them all. Because they are members of APC's board, they're also members of APC's council. Can I just ask, before I give the members a chance to talk about their work, Jack, can you just tell everyone in under 3 minutes what the APC Women's Rights Program has done, and perhaps bring that into the IGF and how we have tried to work in this space over the last 10 years?
Okay. Hello. So we have broadly 4 different strands of activities and strategies that we do. One is around research, so we conduct research in particular areas. The other is around capacity building. We also do policy advocacy, and we also do network and movement building activities. And the areas that we work on is on primarily on, it shifts in different, according to different time. But at the moment, we are focusing on ending violence against women, on sexuality and human rights on the internet, on gender and internet governance, as well as a focus around access and gender issues. So the way that we work is we really partner with organizations in different countries, and we try to start always by some level of research to understand the issue, because we're often at the intersection of women's rights work as well as internet rights work. So we always try to start with a little bit of research to understand the depth of it, and that helps to build our capacity as well as the capacity of our partners, and also to help direct some of our advocacy priorities. And then we do capacity building with a lot of our partners and members, partners and allies as well, to in 3 different ways. One is around strategic use of technology to improve, so that they can use ICTs better in the advancement of their work. 2 is around digital security, so how do we use technology in more safe and secure ways. And 3 is around gender and internet governance. So really looking at ICT policy and governance issues and how to sort of engage the space. And then we will then also work with partners to propose workshop sessions for the IGF, for example. So we've been here since the very beginning, really trying to bring the issue, the many different issues around women's rights and gender and internet rights into the space. And it's really fantastic to see that in 2015, there are so many other organizations who's also not just proposing workshops that focuses on a particular issue of gender, but integrates it into other types of conversations as well. It's really been a shift. And the other thing that we also do is to, we've been coordinating the Gender Dynamic Coalition up until this year. And one of the work of the Gender Dynamic Coalition is to bring different stakeholder groups who is interested in gender and IG issues together to have a space to kind of plan activities, to think about what we might want to prioritize, how can we promote the participation of women and the integration of gender as an issue in internet governance debates. And one of the outputs of the Gender Dynamic Coalition work is also the regular Gender and IGF report card that we've started since 2011. When was it? 2012, I think.
2011, Nairobi.
2011, yeah. Oh yes, Nairobi. So 2011. So we've managed to put this as part of the process, part of the formal process of IGF reporting as well. So, and in fact, the Gender DC meeting is happening as we speak. So might have to split.
Well, you may. Thank you. And Valeria, quickly about the policy and rights work. Valeria is the manager of our policy program, our communications information policy program. Jack is the manager of APC's women's program.
you, Henriette. Yes, I'm Valeria. I'm from Ecuador, and as Henriette was saying, I coordinate a policy program at the APC with a wonderful team all around the world. Well, we basically, similarly to Jaga, what was explaining, we also do research, capacity building, networking and movement building around issues of access, internet governance and access. In the area of access, we are looking at re-emphasizing the need of having public access strategies in order to solve the digital gap, and also trying to work with governments on raising awareness about innovative use of radio spectrum as a way to provide a solution to bridge the digital divide, particularly to bring broadband and to work in the last mile. And we are also working with governments around strategies for infrastructure sharing as a way to reduce the cost of deploying broadband. Looking at the regulatory environment to do so, basically in Africa and Latin America. And in the area of rights, yes, a lot of work has been done around civil and political rights, but we are looking now at the intersection and the relationship between internet access and economic, social, and cultural rights. Exploring that relationship is a challenge. So we are trying to build some analytical tools, but also practical tools to monitor the performance of stakeholders, basically governments around this area, and to look at how access is really contributing to the realization of economic, social, and cultural rights. And in the area of governance, we have been focusing in trying to regionalize the debates around intergovernance, to bring the debates to the regional and national realities, and to promote multi-stakeholder collaboration around a policy dialogue on internet governance in the regions and specific countries, and also to build the capacity of various stakeholders, not only civil society, to have a more meaningful engagement and participation in internet governance processes regionally and globally. So we have the African School of Internet Governance, which has been very successful and is a very clear indicator of the huge need and gap that we have in terms of strengthening the capacity, particularly of stakeholders of developing countries, to be able to engage effectively with these spaces. And at the global level, with the governance, we are here, and since the beginning of the IGF process, for instance, we have been advocating for looking internet governance through a human rights lens, and to make sure that internet governance responds to the public interest. In that sense, we have been advocating for the adoption of mechanisms that ensure that internet governance is transparent and accountable and inclusive, and therefore democratic, if we wanted to really contribute to improving people's life. So yeah, we have also a very strong culture of building collaborations and partnerships around the world to promote, defend not only a democratic internet governance, but also the exercise, the full enjoyment of human rights online, and to look at very practical solutions around access, but also to look at the regulatory environment and how we can enable better regulatory contexts for achieving affordable universal access for everyone.
Thanks very much, Valeria. Anyone with questions at any time, just put your hand up. Emmy.
It's from a remote participant. Yes, it's from Manu from Benin. And he says, from the two presentations from Valeria and Jack, it shows that APC is working on a policy level. What exactly are you doing to ensure, what is APC's strategy to ensure that the internet remains available for communities that are poorly represented, or minority communities? What are the local actions that you're doing besides policy work?
Do you want to answer that? Maybe talk about some of the, we have a project called Local Actions to Secure Internet Rights, which looks both at infrastructure and policy.
Precisely, I will tell a little bit you about that, but I also want to emphasize the fact that because we are a network, a member organization, member-based network. A lot of the work happening at the local levels happen through our members. And let me just use
Maybe we should actually, Valeria, you're right. Maybe we should move on to the members. And then, Emilar, say to Amino that he should listen, and if his question is not answered by the member inputs, we'll come back to it. Sorry, go ahead. And then I think
just
and
in
after that,
response
Paz.
to how we are responding to local realities, we have a very nice example here of the IGF that yesterday we attended, the day before yesterday, sorry, we attended a ceremony of recognition of specific initiatives around the world that are contributing to the development of the internet around various aspects. And one of the initiatives that was recognized was an initiative from Argentina, a group that has been deploying community wireless networks in a very remote area in Argentina, in one of the provinces in Argentina. And it came to our surprise, and it was a very nice surprise that we found out that the first training, technical training on actually setting up community wireless networks was the one organized by APC in 2007 in the Latin American region in the framework of one of the most successful projects in collaboration with members, Tricalcar, and now they have been doing so for many years, and now they are here at the Global IGF showing the experience and explaining how local solutions are contributing also to provide policy solutions in their countries. And
Thanks very much. And Valeria, and which initiative was that? The ISIF initiative? Maybe just mention that.
That's
Frida.
Frida.
Thanks, Valeria. So to shift the conversation away from APC staff and what APC, the organization, is doing, can we ask some of our members to talk about their work? Paz, just introduce yourself and then you start us on that.
Hey, my name is Paz Peña. I'm the Advocacy Director of Derechos Digitales, which is an Latin American organization working on human rights regarding technologies, digital technologies. And well, we also believe that human rights needs to be enhanced in the Internet governance agenda, so that's why we're here. But we also believe that Latin America can have its own agenda in the Internet governance, an agenda that can be built with local participation, understanding our local and political and cultural reality. So that's why actually we have some kind of partnership with APC, with Valeria especially, to organize some activities here as the Latin American in a Glimpse report that you can find in our website, derechosdigitales.org. That report tried to do a summary about the most important news regarding human rights on internet in Latin America in the last year, in 2015, and in order to have a more a better understanding about what is going on in Latin America to the international community. This specific partnership with APC started last year, and we hope to increase our cooperation in the next years, because we not only share the human rights perspective on internet governance, but we also share the approach from the Global South that we really believe in, because, well, we are Latin Americans and we really like to we really are proud of our local, culture, and we really believe that that can be part of the internet governance too. Thank you.
Thanks, Paz. And just to add something to that, one of the philosophies that we have in APC is that we don't force members to brand their work as APC. We leave that entirely up to them. If they want to present their work to the world or to their partners as being linked to APC or part of APC, we like that, but we feel they don't have to do that, because it might actually just be more effective for them to identify their work as being just locally driven. Lillian, a little bit about your work. Lillian is from CEPESA, Collaboration for Internet and ICT Policy in East Africa, Eastern Southern Africa.
Thanks, Henriette. Just about CEPESA. CEPESA was one of the two centers that were established under the Catalyzing Access to Information and Communication Technologies, that is CATIA, in 2004. And since then, we initially had an office in Cape Town, but we decided to move to Uganda. That is where we're based now. And since inception, we've been a leading center, I would like to say a leading center in Eastern Africa on ICT policy research and applications. But also, we realized that advocating for ICT policy or adoption of ICT policies without them being implemented was not meaningful. So in 2011, we initiated a project on ICT, promoting ICT use for democracy and citizen participation, where we've gone down to the local areas, local communities to provide ICT trainings, provide them ICT equipment, and also empower them and equip them with skills to engage with their local leaders. But one of the other things that we've been involved into is the Internet Governance Forum, and in 2006, we co-hosted the first Internet Governance Forum in Uganda, which we did with the Regulatory Authority, that is the Uganda Communications Commission. And since then, we've also participated and led processes in promoting internet governance in the region, including hosting the 2010 East African IGF and this year's East African IGF. Away from that, we realized that when we come to these global spaces or regional spaces, we learn a lot, but what do we take home? So some of the issues like internet freedoms, some of the things that we are passionate about. And in 2012, we initiated a project on promoting internet freedom in East Africa. We set up a project website, which is the OpenNet Initiative. And last year, we had the first inaugural forum on internet freedom in East Africa. We produced a report highlighting the key legislations, policies, and incidents of what is happening in East Africa in regard to internet freedom. This year, we're happy that we got a lot of support from APC and through the members from Africa who participated. We had quite a huge participation, and we launched this report where we did a survey on access, privacy, and security online in East Africa, focusing on Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi. There have been some copies on the APC booth, but it's also available online. So we try to understand what's happening at the global level and also try to see how we can implement it at the local level. Hence, adopting what we, thanks to Alice Munywa, the slogan that we think globally and act locally. Thanks.
Thanks. And Nika, a little bit, we need to move a bit more quickly, a little bit about the work in the Philippines.
Thank you, Henriette. I'm Nika. I'm the Internet Rights Coordinator of Foundation for Media Alternatives in the Philippines. We're an ICT policy and internet governance organization advancing human rights and democratization and people's empowerment. So since our formation in 1987, FMA has sought to enhance the popularization and social marketing of development-oriented issues. And then in 1987 or 1990s, early 90s, we tried to focus on our intervention on ICTs to enable communities to assert their communication rights and defend rights to information and access to knowledge towards progressive social transformation. So FMA joined APC, the fifth, I think, Asian member of APC in 2003. So this paved the way for the formal recognition of actually FMA in the regional and international arena. So FMA enhanced its policy engagement, particularly on internet rights program for Asia and Southeast Asia through its involvement in this in APC-sponsored events back in the early 2000s. So we actually were there in the first Asian Internet Rights Conference in South Korea in 2001. In March 2004, FMA was commissioned by APC to develop the National ICT Policy website for the Philippines, which served as a tool to monitor which ICT activities, follow-on actions, and policy outcomes. And this was further expanded in 2005. So FMA became a catalyst and CSO convener, not just in the Philippines, but also in Southeast Asia and in Asia. And we were also involved in this communication rights in the information society campaign that was also facilitated by APC back then. Now we've been, APC has been really instrumental in strengthening our program on gender. So we have like 3 very active programs. We have the gender program, we have the internet rights program, and we have like a sub-program, which is the privacy and surveillance program right now. And most of the activities there are also, tied up to the global activities of APC. We have like, we were part of the Local Action Securing Internet Rights project that has been facilitated by APC, and also the gender project, the End Violence Against Women project that is also being facilitated by APC. So these are the things that have been really going on right now in the Philippines, and we're very happy to be part of the network. In the regional arena, in the Asia Pacific Regional IGF, we were also able to convince APC to really mobilize, civil society in the Asia Pacific Regional IGF space, and we hope that we'll be able to continue with that. We also we just started to intervene in this ASEAN People's Forum space where ASEAN civil society organizations convene, and we try to ensure that we try to make sure that internet rights and internet rights and internet governance is part of the agenda of the civil society and the ASEAN, and not just traditional human rights. So there.
Thanks a lot, Nika. Valentina, and maybe you could say a little bit about how this sort of dynamic, how the relationship between the network and the members can work. Nika has also done a lot of that.
Okay, I will try to be brief.
You have to be brief.
Yes, okay. So I will start from the end. This year, on the 1st of October, our organization co-organized the first IGF ever in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And we co-organized with the Agency for Communication, which is an independent state body. This would not have happened if we didn't spend the previous, I would say, 5 but more years working on understanding what policy is on internet governance, but also what can be policy means at the local level. And since we are not a female organization but feminist, we contaminate everything. And I have to say that if we look at feminism, not gender only, feminism and genders, APC never had the troubles in describing its politics and policy as a feminist one, since the very beginning. This is the first reason why I find APC and why we decided to become a member of APC, because it was not a shame of using a word that in the donors community can be very tricky. So this is what you do. You are who you are, but you learn together and you go back and forth and you get trust and resource. Because, we could be very happy and willing to do our little IGF one day, but we needed to have someone that would give us trust and resources. And APC, in a very informal way, through the different activities we have together, says you have us, which is great. So it is not about negotiating, it's about discussing how we can promote and move further. So feminism, internet governance, at this very stage, our little organization is happy. We are not a technologist group, but we are the geek of the little Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Thanks very much, Valentina. Last, I'm giving to Michel Lambert from Alternatives in Montreal, and then hopefully we'll have time for a few others.
Thank you, Henriette. Yeah, I'm Michel Lambert. I'm working with a group called Alternative, which is based in Montreal. We're not, as it was just mentioned, we're not a technologies kind of a group. We're not necessarily working a lot on ICT or with ICTs. We are defining ourselves as a solidarity organization, meaning that our job, our mandate is to support others, other group, other social movement working for social justice, environmental justice in various sectors. And we do this at the international level, meaning everywhere, and also in our own country. Like my t-shirt is saying, we've been quite active politically in our own country. Basically, we do that in running a lot of capacity building programs, and that's where ICT is coming in, because we used ICTs like developing new tools, communication tools, for instance, all kinds of websites to help civil society organizations to connect together. Actually, when I started to work with the APC, I was based in Kinshasa, and we were dealing with this, we created a web portal for some 400 or 500 organizations, Congolese organization, which had no other means in those days. It was a pre-Facebook program, so there were no other means for them to communicate to each other. So I was saying capacity building. We do a lot of networking also to help our organization to connect together. We are quite active in the social forum processes, World Social Forum, but also national and thematic social forum. I'm told, by the way, that there will be one on the internet specifically happening in the next year. I don't know if the APC will be engaged into this. And of course, we do support these organizations in sometimes putting money on the table so that they can run social campaigns. We have less money these days, but we still do it. I want just to speak about one specific program that we do now. I was talking about web portals and communication tool. One of those tools is still online. It's called eJoussur.net. E for electronic, Joussur is the Arabic word for bridge. It's still online. Some 400 or 500 organizations from the whole Middle East, North Africa region, communicating together in Arabic, in French, in English. And that tool was not only a communication tool, it was an engaging tool. And we are organized with these organizations various activities. Like prior to the Arab Spring, we had something like 10 or 11 social forums in this area. So it was moving a lot. And lastly, we decided to engage in cybersecurity, because in this region we noticed there was a lot of human rights defender organizations having a huge, immense problem with their own governments. So we set up in Tunis a center called the DSS 216, DSS for Digital Security School, and 216 is the name of the telephone code of the country. And that project helped us to train trainers from the whole region, from Morocco to Iraq, from Palestine, from Egypt, from all over the countries, training these people into how to use various tools to protect themselves, protect their computer, protect their communication. And also with APC, we worked at the policy level to help them improving the policies in their various countries. There's some documentation on the table you can look at. And I think I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Michel. We have just a few minutes left. I just want to emphasize that there are other members around the table. There's the work of Julian's organization in Colombia, and there's Steve. Ariel's also from Colombia. Just identify yourselves so that you know who you can talk to. Ariel from Colombia, Steve from the United States. Where are there other members in the room? Tarata from Japan. Arturo from Paraguay. Anyone else? And then APC staff, just identify yourself so people can. Leila from Spain and Syria, Chris from Brazil. That's right, we have Bolivia in the back, Annabella from Guatemala, and you've met Emilar, and Alan from South Africa, Yolanda, and Eduardo. There's Eduardo from Bolivia. And we have some of APC's founders. We have Paul Wilson over there. Now, much more important than APC in some respects, but one of the people that shaped us, and we have past staff there. We have Edie and Vanessa. So you can, and there's Tarakia, based in Jordan. So you have a spread of people speaking many different languages coming from different perspectives that you can ask about APC. Any questions before we close? No. Well, on that note, I'm going to, Steve.
Yes, Steve Zeltzer from LaborNet, which actually was around in 1990 when we formed APC. But I wanted to say in regard to what we're doing is we're developing an international labor channel that workers around the world could stream their struggles, their issues on the channel live. And I think that would really be important. And one of the issues that we feel that needs to be addressed in future conferences and discussions is the effect on working people globally as far as new technology, new apps, which are making workers temporary in a temp economy. And it's having a radical effect now in the advanced countries with workers. And this is, I think, a growing concern of workers worldwide. We want the technology to help workers and the people of the world and not harm their social conditions and their benefits. And I think it's an increasingly important issue globally and particularly in the United States. Thank you.
And we're hoping Steve will do a workshop with us at the IGF on this next year. I want to ask the chair of our board just to thank everyone and close, and then you can all go to your next workshop.
Yeah, well, on behalf of APC, we want to thank you for attending this session. And we hope that we encourage member organizations and individuals that want to join our job. I want to say that from APC, we receive as members in Colorado a lot of input and a lot of guidance through all these platforms, so we were able to develop projects and activities related to internet governance, appropriation of technology, internet rights, women, and much other projects for the last year. So it's a really vibrant network. It's really a lot of energy inside, and we found always somebody willing to support our work and to provide guidance, and so we will be very happy if you can join the association and continue working with us, and or looking into the future to work with all of you. So thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing this moment with us.
Thanks, Julian. There is a sign-up sheet if anybody wants more information. Yolanda, do you have it? I'm not sure who has it. Flavia, it's at the booth. So you can just leave your name at the APC booth. Thanks very much, everyone.